Hello, I'm here to give you a 75-mile review of the Adidas Adizero EVO SL. Long story short, this is my favorite daily trainer of all time. To give you some context, I've been running for about 8 years, so that gives you some idea of what kinds of shoes I've experienced since then. To give you some additional context, I land midfoot. I don't need stability shoes. My 5K PB is just under 21 minutes. My half marathon PB is about an hour and 48 minutes. And again, I give you these paces and times to serve as a reference point because some of the experiences I describe about this shoe might be completely different to how you would experience it at your paces or your PBs or the way you land. So I just wanted to give you a reference point as context. So before I kind of wax lyrical about why this is my favorite daily trainer, let's kind of talk about the shoe itself in terms of features. I don't have much of the specs in terms of exact weight at my size or the stack height at the forefoot or heel. I do know it's a 6 millimeter drop. I do know it's very lightweight for a daily trainer, but I can talk about what the upper is like and what the ride is like. So let's talk about that stuff. The upper, it's very minimal. The shoe itself is minimal. There's minimal heel padding. The tongue is very minimal, which might be a negative for a lot of you. The construction of the upper is quite different from shoes like the Boston 12. This shoe, the EVO SL, seems to be constructed of a more traditional mesh upper material. It still has kind of a stiff plasticky feeling, but my experience is that this upper secures your foot way better than whatever they were doing with the Boston 12. I like the shoe, but the upper just did not secure my foot very well. And it was a little frustrating because it's a lot of companies, Adidas included, have made shoes with lightweight, breathable uppers of more traditional material, and they've secured my foot just fine. I don't know why they did what they did with the Boston 12, but it just didn't really conform to my foot very well. The good thing is, this shoe conforms to my foot quite well. The heel counter is also just stiff enough to help, keep your heel locked into place. I don't have any heel slippage. Let's talk about sizing with this shoe. So my true to size is 7.5. I've found that with Adidas shoes, historically, including the Boston 12, I've had to order a half size down because they just usually run long in my true to size. So when I ordered a half size down to 7 in the EVO SL, I found it fit a bit more snug than, say, the Boston 12. That's not to say this was too tight, but it feels more like a race shoe that hugs your foot a bit more. The width of the shoe has been fine. I found that despite it feeling a little shorter than the Boston 12, my foot feels fine in the shoe. So for those who are like me and historically needed to order a half size down with Adidas shoes, you could probably get away with getting true to size in the EVO SL. I think the next time, if I order this shoe again, which is highly likely, I think I'll try my true to size. So again, the upper is great. It's breathable, it's minimal, it gets out of your way, but it also secures your foot very well. Again, I don't have the exact weight measurements in my size, so I'll put the standard size weight as an overlay in this video. Like I mentioned earlier, the heel to toe drop is 6 millimeters. I don't have the exact forefoot and heel measurements, but again, I'll put that as an overlay. The shoe has a pretty severe rocker to it. I think it's pretty self-evident when I hold it in profile. It took me a few runs to get used to this, but after I've gotten used to it, I think for me, it's the perfect geometry. So when I first started this video, I said this is my favorite daily trainer I've ever worn. So let's kind of dive into why I make that claim. And just to get some caveats out of the way, I totally understand that please understand that what I'm saying is subjective and it relates to my experiences. I can totally understand everything I say might not apply to you or could be detractors to you. So I want to caveat that For me, this is the best daily trainer I've ever worn and is nearly perfect for me. So why is that? Before I go further into that, I think it's important that I establish what I consider to be a daily trainer. My loose definition of a daily trainer is a shoe that you would wear for most of your runs. That in combination with what the brands actually, or how they position the shoe itself. Most brands for a daily trainer will, through their marketing copy, will position the shoe as a daily trainer. I think Adidas does the same with this shoe. And if we look at prices, most, running focused daily trainers, at least the current seasons, are all priced around $140. Most of them are. This shoe's priced about $150, so a bit more expensive, but I think it's well worth the price and isn't too much of a premium compared to the more traditional daily trainers, for the following reasons. No other road running daily trainer has the same or offers the same value proposition that this shoe offers. And I specify road running because this traction is clearly not equipped for, trails and people who live in like rainy or wet climates. I thankfully live in a pretty dry climate, so I prefer very minimal outsoles. So that's why I specify road running daily trainer. Again, I don't think any current road running daily trainer on the market is as versatile at this given price point as this shoe. I think Adidas has raised the standard to which all other road running daily trainers should be measured by. I think that standard was previously held by the Asics Nova Blast line, given its combination of features such as weight, cushion, and versatility. The EVO SL, I think, has the best cushion to weight ratio of any daily trainer I've tried. It's got plenty of cushion for long runs, plenty of cushion for recovery runs. In fact, I prefer this shoe for both my hard long run efforts and my recovery efforts. I used to wear the Boston 12 for my long run workouts. I'm still wearing this shoe, but I feel like running is more fun in this shoe for all ranges and paces compared to this shoe. So, like I mentioned, the shoe is incredibly lightweight. I have the Brooks Hyperion 2. Some might classify this as a daily trainer. If you're a strong runner, you could definitely use this as a daily trainer. I use this more as a workout and up-tempo shoe because while it is very light and versatile, the cushion is not, something I would be able to take on all of my runs compared to something like the EVO SL. I mean, there's clearly just way more cushion in the EVO SL compared to the Hyperion 2. So we have a daily trainer that has a lot of foam, that is as light, I think. It feels as light as a dedicated up-tempo workout shoe, which are traditionally lightweight. So this daily trainer is already punching above its weight, so to speak, in terms of the weight and cushion, which again helps make it super versatile. And it being versatile means it offers a lot of value. In addition to being cushioned and lightweight, the shoe feels really efficient, and that's partly due to the rocker, as I mentioned earlier, and it's for sure partly due to the foam that Adidas is using. They're using the same foam in the third iteration of that shoe, in this shoe, without a plate. So you have a lightweight daily trainer with a lot of cushion that's using premium foam that feels energetic and bouncy and efficient, and you're giving a lot of that foam. The shoe, again, is very cushioned for how light it is, which makes it, again, incredibly versatile because the rocker makes it very efficient, the foam is bouncy, it's energetic, so at faster paces, this shoe feels like it can handle it. Faster paces for me, again, is like anywhere between 6 minutes per mile all the way up to 8 minutes per mile. This shoe feels great at those paces. This shoe feels great for me, again, at 10 minutes per mile and slower because, again, it's quite cushioned, it's lightweight, The rocker helps keep you efficient. Something I value during my recovery runs is for it to not feel like a slog. And shoes like the Saucony Ride 17, which was a daily trainer with a lot of cushion, it was so wide underfoot compared to the EVO SL that like it made running feel super clunky, and it made slow runs feel like quite the slog. So that's, again, the shoe's footprint in terms of midsole footprint is relatively narrow, or I would dare to say normal, because it's a neutral shoe. I feel like in the past 3 years or so, running shoe brands have made their neutral shoes really wide. The worst offender being Saucony, because their foams were getting softer, and so they tried to make it a bit more stable by widening the midsole. I'm someone who did not or does not like that trend. I want a softer midsole, but I don't want it to be wide, or else again, to me it feels like a slog when I'm running through a shoe that's like, I'm being hyperbolic here, but that's as wide as a snowshoe. And I think a lot of running brands were kind of trying to chase Hoka and making their neutral shoes really wide, but the EVO SL keeps things nimble and slim. And again, that nimbleness and relatively narrow midsole footprint, paired with the rocker, paired with the bouncy foam, paired with the lightweight construction, makes this shoe just capable of doing nearly every single type of run. I know for a fact that I could race a 5K in this. I would feel comfortable doing it. It might not be the fastest 5K, but it could for sure handle a 5K race because it's light, because it's bouncy. And that's on the other side of the coin. I prefer doing my recovery runs in this, again, because there's so much cushion in this shoe, and the rocker helps keep things feeling lively and fun and energetic, even on days when I want to take it slow. Like, I can still run slowly in this. It'll just feel a lot more fun in this shoe compared to something like, oh gosh, I don't have like a Relax Max trainer shoe, but I used to run my recovery days in this, and obviously this is not an ideal recovery day shoe because of the stiffness, but this shoe can do it. At least I personally think it can. And I want to reiterate that like everything I just said might actually be a detractor to you. You might consider yourself a neutral runner, but would still prefer a wider midsole or some more inherent stability. To me, the narrow midsole platform coupled with the rocker brings about an experience that I wish more neutral daily trainers in today's market would deliver. So yeah, I totally understand if everything I just described might be a detractor to you, but again, I'm only speaking from my experience. So just to summarize, the combination of the price that's not that much higher than most normal daily trainers, at least the current season's normal daily trainers, combined with the weight, which is lighter than most daily trainers, combined with the cushion, which is probably more than most daily trainers that aren't categorized as like max cushion shoes, combined with the rocker and the bouncy foam and the narrow platform width, again, results in a shoe that is so versatile across so many different paces. So at least again, for me, this is damn near perfect. And that's my kind of experience in this shoe. Now, how has the shoe held up after 75 miles? Well, it still feels brand new. You can see there's some cosmetic creasing along the sides. I haven't noticed any performance differences at all 75 miles in. Granted, that's not that many miles, especially for a daily trainer, so I'll definitely update, post a new video or update in the comments after I reach 200 miles. The only area of potential concern is the wear on these middle sections of outsole rubber. If I turn the shoe sideways, you can see that it's almost flush with the midsole itself, whereas when I first took it out of the box, it looked something like this, where you could clearly distinguish the outsole rubber from the midsole. But 75 miles in, this section of the outsole is starting to become flush with the midsole, so that there might be some durability concerns. I'm hoping that's not the case, but that might be where my whole like this shoe is incredible value proposition falls apart. Because if I can't make it to past 300 miles with this, then I'll eat my words and say this is not a good value proposition. But despite the price, everything else I described about this shoe, at least to me, makes this a fantastic value proposition. So yeah, after 75 miles, outside of the slight outsole potential wear concerns, the shoe feels fantastic. Again, I've taken this shoe up to 10 miles. I could easily race a half marathon in this. If I had to run a marathon right now, I would still pick this shoe. So if you have a similar, or if you value similar characteristics of a shoe like I do, I would highly recommend trying this shoe out. If you're someone that needs stability, even in a neutral shoe, or needs more outsole tread because you either run more trails or you live in a wetter climate, I would definitely say this is probably not ideal for you. But if you're like me, if you're someone who primarily runs on the road, if you value being nimble and efficient, yet having sufficient cushion to run longer distances and comfort, again, I don't think any daily trainer on the market currently can beat this shoe. I think, gosh, this video is long at this point. I'll keep this quick. This shoe reminds me of the Endorphin Speed 1 without a plate. For those who run in this shoe, I hope you also have fond memories of being blown away by how lightweight yet cushioned and efficient this shoe was. To me, again, this might be a hot take, but the EVO SL to me is like the non-plated spiritual successor of the Endorphin Speed 1. It's just so light, it's peppy, it's cushioned, it can handle long runs, it can handle recovery runs, it can handle faster paces. And again, I know for people who have stability needs, like this is not a good shoe. It's incredibly narrow. The EVO SL is for sure wider and more stable than the Endorphin Speed 1, but based on like how it feels when you're running, the foam compression, the decompression, I find these two shoes very similar, outside of the fact that this has a plate in it. So just to summarize, if you don't need stability, if you don't run in wet conditions, get this shoe. I highly recommend it. It's going to be the first shoe where I buy multiple pairs of. So if you have any questions, please put them in the comments and I'll try to answer them. Thank you for watching me ramble for a very long time, but I was hoping this video might be informative for some of you.